So now the lesson is to actually find the equation of a line when you're given 2 points. So like I said, find the equations of lines given 2 points. Here are the steps that we must follow. So now here are the steps. You're first of all going to find the slope using the equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this top part represents our rise, and this is the run of what we were talking about on our graphs from before. But this time, since we don't have a graph, we're literally going to have to use the second point's y from the first point's y, and then divided by the second point's x divided by the first point's x. And then what we have to use is one of the points that we have here now to find our b value. Then once we're done, we have to just state our new equation. So now, given the points 4, 7, and 12, negative 9, I need you to find the equation of the line. So let's go through all of our steps. We're going to use this equation. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, remember that the basic equation of a line is given by y is equal to mx plus b. So right now, we're determining this part, finding m. So now, here's what we have to do in order to make our life easy. We're going to call the first point x1, y1, and the second point x2, y2. And now we immediately start by calculating our m value that we described right here. So 1, let's use m. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, y2 on our chart is, on our equation thing is negative 9. And our second y1 and y1 is 7. So let's plug that directly in. So we get negative 9 minus 7. And you'll notice that I don't use brackets here. If I have minus minus, I'm going to change that to a plus in my calculations. You should do the same. And then we're going to divide 12, because 12 is x2, as you see here. And x1 is 4, so we subtract 4. And we end up with negative 16 over 8, which equals 2. So m is equal to 2. And we'll put a box around that because we need to look at this later in order to find our equation. So the next step of our problem, of our solution, is to use one of the points and use it to find y is equal to mx plus b. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to use the following 2. We're going to use 4, 7. 4, 7, and we're going to use m is equal to negative 2. So we have to use those, and we're going to take that and we're going to sub it into y is equal to mx plus b. Now remember, our y comes from here. So this is 7 equals, our x comes from here, and our slope comes from here. So we have negative 2 bracket 4 plus b. And now we simplify. So we have negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 plus b. So that means 7 is equal to negative 8 plus b. And now if we add 8 to both sides to get b by itself, we end up with 15 is equal to b. So 15 is equal to b. We found m is 2, 15 is b. So the last part of our problem is to state what our new equation is. So we state our new equation by saying, so the equation is, and you state it with y is equal to mx plus b. So y equals, instead of m, you're going to put minus 2. And then x plus 15. And there we have our solution. And now let's go and try question number 2. Then I'll give you an exit task based on these problems, and then I want you to do the homework. Okay, so let's just do a quick refresher of our steps from before. We find the slope, we use 1 point from our 2 points, and then we state our equation with m and b. So like we said, for step 1, you're going to find the slope from m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Make sure this is on your cheat sheet. It has to be on your cheat sheet. These steps have to be on your cheat sheet, possibly one of these examples. The next spot to do is we're going to label x1, y1, and x2, y2. So you'll notice I labeled x1, y1, x2, y2 from left to right. Just do it just like that, and you're good to go. And so now we're going to do our substitutions. So let's do that. So when you do your substitutions, you're going to get y2 is negative 8, and then subtract, and you'll notice there is minus of minus 1. So when you do your calculations, use your calculator to do the top first, then the bottom. And then you have 21 minus negative 5. Now you'll notice I'm always pairing up the y's for the top, then the x's for the bottom. And we're always subtracting. So when you do the top half of our equation here, you've got negative 8 minus minus 1, which is really just negative 8 plus 1, or you just do it on your calculator. And you end up with negative 7 over, well, 21 minus minus 5 is really 21 plus 5, which gives us m is equal to 26. So m is going to be negative 7 over 26, which is awesome. So now let's continue with stage 2 of our problem. Stage 2 tells us that we have to use one of the points. Okay, I'm going to use negative 5. I'm going to use the point that has negative 5 in this case. So we're going to have negative 5, comma, negative 1, and we have the slope m is equal to negative 7 over 26. So now let's substitute into our equation. So we substitute into y is equal to mx plus b, where our y goes here, our x goes here, and our m goes right here. So substituting, you're going to get the following. Negative 1 is equal to negative 7 over 26. And then we have to put in -5 and then plus b. So now we combine, we do our multiplication. So this is really -5 over 1. We bring the -7 and the -5 together and we get positive 35 over 26. Plus b on the right side is equal to, instead of -1, let's change that to -26 over 26. And so now when we take our 35 and move it over here, it becomes -35 over 26, which is really, it turns into -35 over 26. And then you just add the two and you end up with -61 over 26 is equal to b as our final solution. So the equation is, so now we just have to state our equation with m and b. So the equation is y is equal to -7 over 26x minus 61 over 26. And we're done. That is our final solution. Now, on to your homework, which will be set up as a link on the website, and your exit task that I want you to do at some point. You don't have to do it right away. Maybe you could do it after you've done some practice with this lesson. You can do this exit task that I have. So for your work, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to do this as an exit task. Okay? So this is going to be an exit task when you're done all of the work for this section. So you got to be able to do this, right? You got to be able to calculate your slope from the 2 points. Then use one of the points and the b value, and one of the points and the m value to find our b, and we're good to go. So that's what I want you to do as an exit task after you've done the homework that's been posted online.